How does a person slip into a coma on the same day Dr. King is assassinated at the same motel a mere hour later and more people not know about it? Before it was the Lorraine, it was the Windsor Hotel and the Marquette. Then in 1945, a black businessman named Walter Bailey purchases the hotel, which he renamed the Lorraine after his wife Loree and the popular jazz song Sweet Lorraine. Now, the motel became a popular destination for blacks, including celebrities and musicians. As a hotel, the Windsor and the Marquette were all white establishments. So now that the Baileys own it, now it's a black-owned motel, and it became a safe haven for black travelers and visitors to Memphis and appeared in the Green Book. Now, remember, we did a video last year on the Green Book. It was called the Negro Motorist Green Book, and it identified establishments that welcomed black travelers when there weren't many places that served us during the time. Now, we take a lot for granted today, but if you were black, African American, color, whatever you call yourself during Jim Crow, many gas stations were not going to serve you. Many hotels did not serve you. Many restaurants didn't serve you. Places like the Lorraine Motel were hidden gems that were affordable and safe places for black people to stop and rest. It was popular among many musicians, and it was popular way before Dr. King's assassination. So now let's go back to April 4th, 1968. Dr. King is shot. Now, after he is shot, Loree Bailey, the wife of the owner and co-owner of the motel that was named after her, suffers a stroke, y'all, from an aneurysm and slips into a coma. This is all happening around the same time. Reverend Samuel Cowles, who was there to take Dr. King and his entourage to his house for dinner, was standing next to King during the assassination and ran into King's room to call an ambulance. But Bailey, who operated the switchboard, had run into the courtyard to see what was happening, so he couldn't get through to the call. They said she was distraught and discombobulated. Now, Loree was eventually rushed to the hospital and died 5 days later on April 9th, the same day as Dr. King's funeral. After her death, Walter hung a wreath on the door of room 306, and he said, quote, "This room is going to go down in history as the most famous motel room in the world." There is a wreath hanging off the balcony for King, but there was also one on the actual door of room 306. I don't know if you can see it behind Walter here, but he put that there for his wife, but it's not there today. Walter Bailey continued to operate the Lorraine Motel without Loree for another 14 years before declaring bankruptcy in 1982. The Save the Lorraine Foundation stepped in and purchased it, continuing operations as a motel into 1988 when Walter Bailey died. In 1991, it reopened officially as the National Civil Rights Museum. Dr. King's room was left just as it was on the day of the assassination. It was never again rented out. Room 307 was also left empty and never again rented out in honor of Loree Bailey.